Hello and welcome back to a brand new Pick a Side instant reaction. We are here after the Cavaliers are finally not undefeated anymore. The Celtics handed them their first loss. The Cavs are now 15-1. And why this game was so important is because this was a test to see where the Cavaliers match up against the team that just won the NBA championship. How you guys doing, fellas? We just came back from playback, had 200 viewers in there. Make sure you guys check us out next time we do playback, which should be soon. How you guys doing, fellas?
I'm doing pretty great. Watched a pretty great basketball game with some great people. Playback was amazing. It's the best turnout that we've had all season long so far, even though we're only a month in. Really love the traction that you guys have been helping us gain on playback yet again. We were really locked in a couple of years back, but now I feel like we're back and we're better than ever. It was a really great time. I love when we get the four of us on playback. I feel like it's always a movie. But this basketball game we watched was exciting. There was a point in the game early on where I was a little concerned that the Celtics were going to run away, but we ended up getting a banger.
What's Jason saying, Riv? A Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom till a Phantom pulls up. Oh, that's the type of vibe I got from this game.
You might be the only person that got that vibe, but definitely had fun. We had about 230 in there at one point, so we definitely had a good group. Excited to be there. We had a shit ton of fun. Watched a great game, and I'm excited to hear Dels. You guys got this one. Good win. Can't say too much. We'll see you again. No, we played 3 times this year. We'll see you again. Don't worry. We'll be back.
Listen, I feel like this was a tale of just different quarters. In the third quarter, the Cavaliers made a run. They scored 40 points in the third quarter. But in the first half, it was all Celtics. And I feel like in the first half, what really stuck out to me the most was the Cavaliers' lack of size. They did have a ton of injuries. Isaac Okoro didn't play. Karis LeVert didn't play. Dean Wade didn't play. And Max Strus hasn't really played at all this year. So they were missing those 4 key players. And, yeah, if they go into a series with Boston with Georges Niang, it's not going to turn out well for them. But I also wonder if the wings that didn't play are enough against Boston. Who's their defensive stopper? And I think the Cavs and Celtics both have their own advantages. I feel like the Cavs' advantage is their bigs. We saw the Celtics, they really struggled when Al Horford wasn't on the floor. Those were by far the worst minutes of the night.
Yeah, Cato was terrible in this game. He had been giving us some really good minutes earlier in the season. And again, this is a guy that's been developmental for the most part, right? He's bounced around to a couple of teams. He's on a 2-way contract, got a full-time deal, I think last year, this past offseason. So the fact that he's contributing at all has been huge. But this game was terrible. I mean, defensively and offensively, he doesn't give you much as is. But both sides, it was really tough to watch. Of course, the the Cavs are dealing with a ton of injuries. And, I'm trolling a little bit about the Phantom talk because I thought this was a great game. This is a game that went down to the wire. Boston was up 20, 22 points at one point. Cleveland brought it right back. What I'm most concerned of for Cleveland's side of things, Darius Garland's not going to be this bad again. He's not going to shoot 3 for 21. He's not going to be that bad. But he's going to struggle in this matchup. He's going to struggle a ton because you have guys that are strong, they're long, they're athletic. I don't know if he's going to be able to, in a 7-game series, really get his way and average an efficient 20 points per game, which at a minimum they'll probably need if they want to get past Boston, at least 17, 18. Because when you have Drew Holiday and Derek White and you're switching and now you're trying to get Jason Tatum or JB in the action, and then when he tried to attack Al Horford, it did not work. Al Horford blocked him on multiple occasions where Garland was able to get a step on him because of his quickness, but Al was able to make it back. Once Boston's fully healthy, and of course you have KP out there, you don't have to deal with as many Tatum minutes. I think it's going to look a lot better. But overall, this was a great game. This is about as good as a November basketball game as you're going to get. And also, Jason Tatum, MVP performance. I'll just throw it back out there, 33, 12, and 7. Some calm shit. It's what he's doing every night now.
That's what we know he's going to do. No sweat.
Drew, you want to go?
I'll say a couple things. The difference in this game for me was a couple of things. I look at the 3-point differential between the two teams. We know Boston's one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. They made 12 more 3-pointers than the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the Cavs almost had 30 more paint points than the Boston Celtics. Not too much of a surprise. I give a lot of credit to Mobley and Jared Allen. They've been 2 of the best contributors for that team this whole season. But we really saw Mobley step up in this game. Early on, Donovan and Garland didn't get it going. Donovan was amazing in that fourth quarter. But I look at Darius Garland, and I'm going to keep it consistent. I believe Darius Garland, when he plays at the level we've seen him play while they were on their 15-0 run, there's a reason why we see them win basketball games. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand when Garland struggles, it usually correlates to the Cavaliers not playing that high level basketball. Although Donovan went to a different mode. And of course, when you have Mobley locked in for the first 3 quarters, of course, come crunch time, the ball goes into Donovan and it goes into Garland's hands. But you need Garland to not press so much in situations like these. It's his first bad game of the season. I'm not going to be too critical of him. I was trolling in the playback. Of course, you guys know how that goes. We're having fun when we talk basketball. But when it comes to watching Garland and in moments like this, and I'll go to my other side where you guys know I love Jaylen Brown. I think I saw the two of them try and get the better of each other because we saw Garland match up against Jaylen Brown. But when you have those moments with Garland with the ball in his hands, you don't need to be so quick to everything. You don't need to be quick trigger or pulling a 3 in transition when you're going and attacking the cup in transition, going up every single time. Sometimes you can slow it down, get the offense set, and get into your set offenses to get better opportunities. I feel like a lot of this game for the Cleveland Cavaliers, I watched a lot of bad shot attempts. Similarly on the other side with the Boston Celtics, and I think that the Cada minutes with the Peyton Pritchard, and I'm blanking on the other guy who was the only other, there you go. They were the only minuses on the court for the Boston Celtics tonight. That's when the Cavaliers were able to get back into this game. But even JB on the other side, he was trying to attack that mismatch, and it wasn't there. And I think we saw him be great as a playmaker, solid as a defender, of course, made some tough buckets at the end. But there are moments where sometimes you need to calm down, slow the game down, and get into your set offenses because you need better shots. I think that's being said for both teams, but for the Cavs, because we all trust the Celtics a lot because they are reigning champs. We know who they are as a basketball team. But when it comes to the Cavaliers, who really are breaking onto the scene as one of the elite teams, or that's how now they're being propped up because they are 15-1, you need your best players to be calm in situations like these. And with Garland tonight, I expect a lot better, but tonight it just seemed as if he was pressing a little bit too much and was one of the main reasons why they weren't able to walk away with the W, because I think if he plays at a 7 out of 10, the Cavaliers are 16-0.
Are you worried about Garland, Riv?
In this matchup specifically, but I'm always worried about, like, I even said this when the Knicks match up with them or Milwaukee match up with them. I'm always worried about the guard because I feel like Boston is absolutely prepared to guard guards, every guard probably in the league, or in the East, especially, except Steph, of course, never. But they're specifically like toned up to guard guards. They have Derek White, they have Drew Holiday, they have Jaylen Brown, they have Tatum. So, and I thought this game, watching it, he got a lot of good looks. He just didn't, like Drew mentioned, he was pressing a lot. He was rushing himself. I guess he tried to prove himself in this matchup. They just lost to them in the playoffs. He did not play well in that series. So this was one of those games you circle 15-0. You kind of want to go out there and prove yourself. And you just did not come to show to the party. I think you mentioned if he plays at a 6 out of 10, they probably win this game.
I agree.
If he just plays regular, they can probably get the W. I seen Cavs fans talking about the injuries. Yeah, the injuries are a concern, but with those wings, you give up something. You know, with Isaac, you have the defense, you give up a little bit of the offense. With Dean Wade, you probably get a little bit of both, but nothing to a high level. With Karis LeVert, you get a shit ton of offense, probably a little bit of a low level on defense. So they're kind of missing that guy, you know, that can kind of give them both at a high level. But I think those three will be fine for them as long as the Twin Towers play well and then Darius Garland plays really well. I thought defensively they were fine, like in switches, mismatches, you know, when Boston was trying to get them to, you know, they was trying to go small, trying to attack the small guys. I thought Sam Murrell, Darius Garland, especially defensively, I thought they were fine. I thought Mobley and Jared Allen were able to help at a great rate. When they went up 20 points, it was the over-helping, the over-committing. But I thought when they settled down defensively and they let their guards just play one-on-one, you know, stand firm, I thought they did fine. I thought Boston, you know, definitely took some bad shots, but, you know, Tatum had a great game. So, you know, he was able to get into Derek White, had some big moments in this game too. I think for Cleveland, this was a good test. I think they got punched in the mouth, and we talked about it all year. How is Cleveland going to, you know, take adversity? How is Cleveland going to get punched in the mouth? How are they going to respond? And they got punched in the mouth in that first half. They were down 15, 20 points, and they responded with a big third quarter, which they've been one of the best teams in the third quarter this year. They struggled. They responded with 40 points. And then in the fourth quarter, they played well. You just need Garland to be on his A game If he's on his A game, you have a better game. But I think overall with Cleveland, you walk away from this L like, damn, we lost in Boston, but some positives to take away. As for Boston, I agree. I think Jaylen Brown, he was I don't know if he was timid when he got to the rim because of Mobley or because of Allen, but I felt like sometimes he was rushing a little bit, or he was taking the wrong move, or he wasn't, he just the timing wasn't there when he got to the rim. He made a couple good passes, but I felt like as a scorer, he wasn't there tonight. But still, this Boston team, they won a championship. They know how to respond. They lost a 20-point lead, was still able to get the W. But overall, great game. Couple things that you like to see. D. Mitch did wake up in the fourth. I think Cleveland will be better prepared for the second matchup, and I am not worried about Darius Garland. I think he'll bounce back next game.
I mean, this matchup really showed me a couple things, man. I mean, for one,
I feel like
there was a point in the game where the Celtics were blowing out the Cavaliers, and you hung up your hat and you said, Celtics are just this good, and they don't have Porzingis. This is the clear favorite. Then the Cavaliers woke up. If you're the Cavaliers, if you're in that locker room, if you're a fan and you just watch that game with 4 key players being out, you feel like you can beat Boston. And I know that Darius Garland played a bad game. The fact that he put up 21 shots and he was getting to the rim with ease and he was just missing shots that he usually has made this year. If you get a better performance from Garland, who in the past has been a kryptonite for the Celtics. Darius Garland has played really well against the Celtics in previous matchups, and this is a game he usually gets up for. And with the bigs that they have, I mean, at this point, you cannot rely on Porzingis to stay healthy. If he is healthy, then yeah, Boston has a major advantage. But the bigs is something that Boston is not going to be able to handle. Having Evan Mobley and Jared Allen is a look that they're able to throw at Boston that they're not going to be able to see against any other team in the East.
I still think Boston has answers to it, though. Like, Boston still could go 5 out. We could still see Boston
Tatum
attack one-on-one to, attack one-on-one, kick out when they drive. Boston could still do all of that. The Porzingis shit, it's like, of course, if Porzingis plays, they're overwhelming favorites to go back-to-back. I think that's obvious. If Porzingis is out, it becomes a much more, closer series. I think that having to rely on Luke Cornett or Keita or Xavier Tillman is a big concern. With that being said, Porzingis did have like a pretty decent stretch last year, like in the beginning of the year, where he stayed healthy for a decent part of the time. You just got to hope he stays healthy at the back end of the season. If he has some injuries here and there, you'd obviously prefer it to be in the regular season. The 2 other players I just want to shout out that were X factors for the Celtics. Al Horford was amazing in this game. He had 20 points. I don't think, did he miss a 3? Was he 4 for 5 from 3? He was, I have it here. Al Horford was 4 for 5 from 3, 7 for 11 overall, had 3 blocks, 2 of them on Darius Garland. He was sensational in this game. And Al's going to give you at least one of those a series, right? We saw it last year against the Pacers where he hit like 8 threes. And one of those games, game 3 or game 4, was on the road. And he just explodes because Tatum's going to attack. Your biggest helping out of Al Horford, and now he's getting open looks. That's still going to be the case if these teams match up again. And then Peyton Pritchard just continue to do what he's been doing really all season long, being an energy shifter off the bench, hitting those long threes. He didn't do much in this game, but he's doing a much better job this season attacking the rim and finishing around the rim. Because, of course, he's a small guy, right? He's 6 foot, 6'1" with shoes on maybe. But in the past, his first couple of years, he wasn't even looking to go to the rim. This year, he's doing a better job to make him a more complete player. But those 2 players were really the biggest difference because you had Tatum go crazy. Drew Holiday and Derek White hit some shots when they were called. And this was a down Jaylen Brown offensive game. So you had these other pieces step up. With that, Porzingis is moving in the right direction. He practiced with the G League team in Maine. Seems like he's going to be back in the next couple of weeks. Being back in December is great. Of course, you need him in April. But the fact that they haven't had this guy for the last, month since the season started, they've still been this dominant. Second place, obviously, because the Cavs got off to such a great start. But I can't wait to see him back on the court because he makes this team one of the most fun teams I've ever seen in the NBA.
And maybe this trends into Andrew's overrating role players. I love Derek White. I mean, what he brings to a basketball court every single night.
How about those blocks?
It can't be. He is by far and away the best guard shot blocker in the league. I know that really doesn't matter, but for the Boston Celtics, it actually does.
It matters a lot. No, he's awesome.
And then as a three-point shooter, he's shooting 41%. He obviously super reliable in that regard too. He's another ball handler for the Boston Celtics. He can do everything that you ask him to do on the basketball court at the highest of levels. There's honestly, again, maybe it's me overrating. There are not many players, given the fact that they can't be the best player on a championship team, that I'm taking over Derek White. He just fits on all 30 squads. He's so good.
You overrated him. It's just you said he was better than Darius Garland.
You are overrating him right now.
I think that he does everything that you can ask for a role player at the highest of levels. What can't he do?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have an issue with you saying Derek White is better than Darius Garland. I might disagree with that. My issue is with you saying Alex Caruso is better than Darius Garland. That's my biggest issue.
Listen, and that's all fine. But that being said, Derek White, because that's the conversation at hand, I'm taking him over Darius Garland for the reason that he is an amazing defensive player.
No, you're not.
He's not the offensive player that Darius Garland is, and he'll never be that offensive player. And honestly, I'm really not even trying to make a joke, not trying to laugh at all. The truth of the matter is, what separates the two for me is, yeah, Garland may be the better offensive player for the fact that he's faster, he's quicker, can create a lot better for himself. But the defensive side of the ball, his game is so impactful, on top of the fact that he's a really good offensive player too. That's why I'm not trying to get into a Garland versus. I
don't think you're in a vacuum. You're taking Derek White over Darius Garland.
Again, like it's flashy, it's nice, it looks good, but that really is not attractive to me.
You're comparing an efficient third or fourth guy on a championship team to a number 2 guy on a team.
Really, what is Garland?
Number 2 on a championship team, brother.
No, I didn't say no. See, you're not even listening. You're not even listening. Darius Garland is the number 2 on his team right now. That's what I'm saying. Okay. He's the number 2 on his team. Derek White is the number 3, sometimes the number 4, sometimes the number 5, sometimes number 2 on some nights on his team. He fits perfectly with that unit. It's fine. He's extremely efficient. He does not have the same responsibilities, nor can he, of a Darius Garland. It's just a fact.
Offense. Because of offense.
Yeah, offense. Defensively.
And Darius Garland will never be that defensive player that...
no,
that's
he won't.
Fine, but
Derek White's not anchoring a defense, though.
But no guard really is.
No, yeah, you're right.
No one's asking.
So, yeah.
I think my thing is if you're taking Derek White over Garland because of defense, then are you taking Derek White over other offensive-centric guards that are stars as well? Like,
not necessarily, just more so in his tier.
Would you take Derek White over LaMelo Ball?
No, I wouldn't. But I also say that LaMelo Ball is a much better right now offensive player than Garland.
Or is he just the best player on a much worse team and putting up better numbers?
But even still, when that was Darius Garland's role, although it was early into his career, he wasn't putting up the numbers that LaMelo was.
He was a calm 22 and 8 guy.
For sure. LaMelo could average 28, 30.
LaMelo's in different conversations this season.
But I don't think Derek White can go average 22 and 8 and lead a top offense. I don't think he can do that. That's what Garland did his second year.
Were they a top offense?
I actually don't remember that top offense part.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But he was leading them to the play-in. He was their best player, and he was averaging 22 and 8. If you telling me Derek White can do that, and he's shown you he can do that, you got it. But
right now, as you've mentioned, the number 2, 3, or 4 option on this team, he's averaging 19.
Yeah, but he's a role player. He's a high
exactly. At 19 as a role player is pretty amazing.
So that year the Cavaliers were 20th in offensive rating without Donovan Mitchell when Garland made his first All-Star with Mobley being on the team, I think, as a rookie. But the thing is that LaMelo is averaging these numbers in a small sample size, but like when we've seen other sample sizes of him, the numbers that he averages are near what Garland was as an All-Star. And if you're taking defense into account, I just think that offense matters more than defense. And I think Garland is like, if you're picking a player to run your team and generate offense, you're picking Garland over Derek White.
To generate offense, I will never disagree with that.
My defense.
But when you take both into account and understand that both are not players that can be the best player on your team to go and really be a serious contender, that's where sometimes that's where my mind's at, and that's really where I've tried to get at. If you are not a true number 1, the Jason Tatums, the LeBron James, Jokic, SGA, Luka Doncic, Giannis. Like, if you're not those level of players, how well can we fit around those star players? Can you be a integral, a glue guy to help win a championship? You saw Jamal Murray do it. Do I think that Darius Garland, when I look at him next to a Derek White, which of the two would I rather have? I'd rather the guy that I know can play off ball, who also can have the ball in his hands. I'd also rather the guy that I know is going to be consistent shooting the basketball. I'm going to take the guy that
Garland.
also at the same.
That's
Is he
Garland.
consistent shooting the
Yes.
basketball?
This
But
year,
then
yes.
also the
He's shooting
defense.
45% for three
I
this
can
year.
go and I can put Derek White on the opposing guards, one of their best offensive players.
No
saying
guard
Derek
is
White
doing
is
that.
more you're saying
Darius
Derek White
Garland
is more pluggable.
is.
He's more pluggable. Derek White
That's
is more pluggable.
exactly.
That doesn't
That's
make him
my
a better
whole
player.
point.
No
Like
guard
Derek
is
not
White,
defending.
Derek
I
White
would,
is more
my point
player.
is, I would rather have that kind of player
Yeah, that's
on
not
my
fair.
squad.
Derek
That
White
doesn't
is
mean
more
he's better,
pluggable
though.
than
That's what-
Brandon Ingram.
and
He's
that's
not a
all
better
I
player
said.
than
Make
Brandon
Garland
You
a
said
better
he's
player because he
better.
could create offense better. That makes him a better
Because
player.
he looks cooler. Like he
He- no,
looks
he's- no,
cooler
he's-
doing
he's just-
everything.
no,
Garland's the better offensive player. Like Garland is
Easy.
creating shots
Wait, so
for
who's
sure.
better? Who's better? Tyrese Maxey or
The
Derek White?
Celtics in this game, though, they were hunting Darius Garland every single
And it
time.
didn't work. It did not work this game. It did not
No,
work.
I agree with
I
that.
think over a 7-game series, will it work?
I
Probably.
mean, you're guessing, but
I
it
just
did
don't
not work
understand.
at all
Darius
this game.
Garland has been amazing every game this season. He finally has a bad game.
I agree with
and now
this.
we're trying to say he's inconsistent. Is Derek White better than Tyrese Maxey?
No.
It's
No.
the same argument.
You think Garland and Tyrese Maxey aren't in a similar tier of players?
No, I don't think
You
so.
I think Maxey
way
might be a
better than
tier above
Garland?
Wait, hold on, wait. I have a question because that don't even make. It's not even who I think better. Or who I don't even care about that part. Maxey is just a scorer. He's not an off. He's just a scorer. His
And he's an
playmaking-
amazing scorer.
Yeah, no, I agree. His playmaking is actually a tick below, and actually we've seen him be actually not good without Embiid on the floor.
But
But
we've
you
also seen
the
two
Sixers
playoffs
are
back
one
to
of the
back
worst
of
No,
him
teams.
being
I
really
agree,
great.
but you just said you're taking Derek White over Garland because he can do multiple things on the court. I'm not mad at that, but that's just that should apply to Tyrese Maxey because Tyrese Maxey can only score the ball.
But he also does it efficiently when it matters. I've seen him in 2 playoffs back to back.
I guess
That's
I mean,
the
yeah,
truth.
okay.
And he killed the Knicks.
And you haven't seen it from
Oh.
LaMelo, so why is Derek White not over LaMelo?
Okay, listen, I can hear that too because the defense really is great, but the offense is so much greater.
So you can hear Derek White over
I don't get it.
LaMelo?
Derek White is one of the best pluggable players in the league.
I think
Right.
he is. I think he is.
I just
And
don't think I think Darius Garland's a good offensive player. I do not think he's an elite offensive
he's
player.
a great
No,
offensive
he's a great
player.
offensive player.
I don't know.
He's a
I
great.
think
offensive
What?
He's good.
No,
He's a good offensive player.
you're just harping on 1 year of his career. Swear to God, you are.
Which
is last year.
I think he is
he's
a great-
not.
I
He's
think
not Trey
he-
Young. I don't think he's LaMelo.
Let's-
I don't think
no.
he's
Those are
that
elite
level of guy.
LaMelo hasn't even been an elite offensive player in his career.
I still
It's
feel
like-
like the flashes we're seeing from LaMelo this season.
Are we talking about flashes or what we've actually seen?
I mean, has
Garland's
Garland
really-
ever shown to be this level of LaMelo Ball's offense? I'm
Garland-
asking.
I
Garland-
think
full
Garland is a great.
season
I think Garland is a great
of work.
offensive player. I think great. I don't think he's elite.
Let's not get caught in semantics because
Yeah,
I think he's great too.
I don't think he's Trey
great,
Young.
good. I don't give a
think,
fuck.
I don't think he's Trey Young or none of them.
Yes.
Those
Like
are
he's
tier
not John
above.
Moran. He's
No,
not
no,
those
he's
guys.
not.
No.
But I think he's definitely a tick above good. Like good is probably like shit.
I don't
even
want to
know.
get
Drew
caught on
Holiday.
semantics. Like what? Austin Reeves is good. Like, is that what you're saying?
No, listen, an elite
don't even know.
offensive player right now at the point guard position is Luka, is SGA.
SGA.
Jalen Brunson is like, maybe just like right in there too. I think he's in there with the way Fox is playing this year, but not the way he played last year. I think the great offensive players that are at the point guard position, there's a lot of them jumbled up. Like, I think there is,
And Garland is a better passer than a lot of those elite offensive players.
Can you not say that Derek
You
White
know
is
what?
more like
I sit
adaptable
here.
than
I
John
sit here,
Morant?
and you guys tell me this, and I'm here. I'm like listening to myself speak, but also listening to you guys too. I hear where you guys are coming from, and you guys are making me lean the side of Derek White over these players too. Like, I get where you're coming from. No, 100%. I feel where you guys are coming from in my inconsistency there. I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. But that's the truth. I would rather a guy that I know can go every single night, go and give me around 15 to 20 points any given night efficiently. But on the other side, he's one of the better defenders in the game.
That's fair.
Listen, I think that the Cavaliers showed that they could compete with the Celtics. Do you guys think that Celtics and Cavaliers, is this an Eastern Conference Finals matchup? Do you think it will be the ECF? I know it's early, but will it be the ECF?
I still have to respect those New York Knicks. I still think that they have their ways to go in finding themselves. I don't think this will be the final roster come playoff time. That being said, where things stand right now, I mean, of course, we just have to go what we're seeing. We have a 15-1 team in the Boston Celtics. We're already writing them to go to the finals. That's going to be the squad I think we have representing the Eastern Conference. But if these two teams match up, I still favor Boston, especially with KP, because we didn't see KP in this game. I know we didn't see LeVert, no Dean Wade, but KP is a much significant ball player to the Boston Celtics than those guys. I'm still going to take the Boston Celtics, but I do think it is a very respectable series, but the Celtics win it in 6.
I think you still got to give some love to New York. I think that's another matchup that would Garland may or may not struggling. You know, you got McCall, you got OG and them boys. They did play 2-3 weeks ago. He had a good game, so that was a good sight to see in the Garden.
This dude's great, and he's struggling against the top 2 teams in the East. I don't know how much that's going to help me.
Well, like I said, they played a month ago. He had a good game, so that's good sight to see. So it's just a wait and see. It's just a wait and see. I think Cleveland matchup dependent. I think they match up the best against Boston because they have the Twin Towers down there. And you saw what Kenny Atkinson was doing. He was getting Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in switches, and they were doing their thing, dominating the paint. I would probably still favor Boston if they're healthy, though. I think it goes 6 or 7 regardless, because I think Cleveland is just that competitive. But I still would favor Boston. I think New York, though, can't sleep on them. It's probably about it in the East. Orlando, if they get healthy.
Paulo gets back. Yeah.
Orlando for sure.
If they get healthy, if Orlando gets back. But still, I don't know how much offense has. If Franz is – that's another guy. If Franz is playing better, then we can assume that too. But they're 2 teams. Orlando's waiting on Franz. Cavs are waiting on Garland in the playoffs. So it's like whoever shows up first, they probably win that series.
You got Anthony Black playing out of his mind too recently too. That's a nice boost.
If Porzingis is healthy, I don't see this going past 6 games. I mean, maybe it's 5. If you're telling me Porzingis is 100%, I just think that's how dominant the Celtics are with him. If he's out, this is a real series. Like, this is a 6-game, potentially 7-game series, because I think they give Boston issue. Like, I think they don't have anyone to defend the Jays. Shout to Isaac Coro, shout to Dean Wade. I don't think they have anyone to consistently guard the Jays. With that being said, having Evan Mobley and Jared Allen defending the rim, it doesn't make up for it, but it makes your life a hell of a lot easier when you have elite rim protectors behind them. And of course, the switchability that Evan Mobley gives you. The Knicks, it's early, so I'm not going to make any proclamation on the Knicks, but they built this team to stop the Jays with OG Anunoby training for Mikal Bridges. I don't know how that's going to work out. And then their big position scares me because I think Cat is best used as a 5, but defensively, if you're playing Boston with Cat as your 5, I think that's a really tough matchup. So Mikal Bridges is going to have to show me something defensively over this next stretch for me to really believe in New York to be this contender to Boston. But yeah, I think it's the Cavs, the Knicks, and if the Magic get healthy, I see them as that 3rd team because the Sixers I think are done. The Bucks I think are done. The Pacers, the Heat, these kind of dwindling teams behind them, I don't see them as a real threat.
You don't think they have anybody to guard the Jays for real? You believe that? The Cavs?
No, heavens.
Really? You actually think that?
Evan Mobley can guard.
You think if they put Mobley on Jaylen Brown, you don't think he can guard him? Genuine question.
I mean, if you want to put Mobley on Jaylen Brown, go for it.
They've done it before.
But that's a win.
Because
then what happens with JT?
Well, JT, stars get there. You have to stop somebody.
You have to fry. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. It's still not a great matchup because then you still have to worry about Drew. You still have to worry about Derek, and we're not even talking about KP because what happens with him?
Drew, you can put Donovan Mitchell on Drew and be fine.
But Drew still this was a quiet game from Drew, and he was still pretty effective.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, if Drew Derek White beat you, that's what you want. Honestly.
I mean, I think Mobley, he could guard one of them, but no, they don't have the wings to handle the Celtics. That's the biggest thing, and I feel like they need to explore trades. I feel like another thing is that the Cavaliers, they're a pick and roll offense, and they don't take a lot of 3-point attempts. They're not top 5 in 3-point attempts because they get a lot of their buckets in the paint with these rolls, but they do need to bring in a shooter. I think Cam Johnson, I'm going to talk about it until a trade goes down because he's going to be in the trade market. I think Cam Johnson, if he goes to the Cavaliers, that Celtics and Cavaliers series to me becomes very interesting because he's somebody that you have to respect, and it's going to create an abundance of space on offense. The Knicks, listen, I think our offense can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the league, and I do think that we have the wings to guard the Jays with OG and Mikal.
In theory.
I mean, I know the first
Yo,
matchup ain't
OG
good,
has
but
been so much better than opening night. It's not even funny.
No, OG,
OG's been
I know OG. I am fine with OG.
Mikal had a game-winning block.
It's just defensively, Mikal, I feel like has not been the type of dude you thought you were getting.
Recently, he has been. That's why I'm not going to sell my stock on Mikal Bridges. He's actually 4th on the Knicks in points per game behind OG. I was not expecting that. I'm glad I canceled my bet with Rib.
You were disrespecting OG. You were disrespecting OG. I did not forget.
OG's doing some things, but the real thing with the Knicks is that they're going to always put Brunson and Cat in actions, and then
Amen.
That defense is going to be bad, and then you have the rotational players. But no, like the Knicks, they're still very much in it. I think if the Cavaliers can avoid the Knicks in the playoffs, they can make the ECF. I don't think that they match up well with the Knicks. If we have OG and Mikal guarding Donovan Mitchell and Garland, yeah, come on.
Who's Mikal guarding? Donovan?
He could guard Garland.
Yeah, let him guard Garland.
He
You
can't
got
guard
OG
Donovan.
on Don.
All you
He
need,
can't-
all you need is a pick and roll, brother. That's all you need in the switch.
So I'll tell you what, fourth quarter Donovan today was entertaining, bro. He was beautiful basketball today.
Second half, yeah.
No, man. Listen.
That fourth quarter, I'm saying, bro.
I do
Oh
think.
my God.
I do think though, if you just have guys who can't get beat off the dribble, like Niang was getting beat off the dribble in the fourth, or Sammy, like if you just can fill in bodies, and then you have Mobley and Allen at the rim, I don't think it's as bad as people make it seem. I think Mobley and Allen, they're fine down there. Of course, the Porzingis, if he's healthy, that causes a different whole problem that they have to figure out. But as long as you just have bodies, I mean, like they were just toying with Niang in the fourth quarter, just completely beating them off the dribble, then hitting somebody in the corner. If you can just find guys who aren't getting beat so easily, then you might have a chance for sure. You cut down on the threes, definitely.
Yeah, I like the conversation we got into Darius Garland. One bad game, and I mean, you've had Derek White over Garland for a while, so I won't even say that. But the disrespect after one bad game,
I'm not.
it's
Listen,
kinda
again,
crazy.
if it came off as disrespect,
I'm not
naturally
talking
that's
about
going to
you.
happen.
I'm
Okay.
talking about the comments and the disrespect
All right.
on Garland's name. This is one bad game. I seen him drop 34 on the Knicks. I seen him the other night without Donovan
Shit,
Mitchell.
frightened dude, didn't you?
25
I'm
and 12
like, what
against the
did I do?
Hornets. I mean, I seen Garland go crazy, and he is a great player. So
Now, as long
that's
as
all I
you
gotta say.
as long as you're consistent about it, I don't really care. I was all about the inconsistency of the argument.
So
That's
Derek
The
White
D-
or Derek White. I mean, Trae Young or Derek White.
Ah, man, Trae Young leads top offenses every single year.
why are
It's
you
Trae
thinking
Young.
about it?
I wasn't thinking about
It
it.
felt like a thought.
No, Trae Young's
figure it
Trae
out.
Young.
Yeah, okay. That's good. All right. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
No,
Thank God.
there's other point guards that. What about Dame? Derek White or Dame?
Right now, shit, fuck Dame.
Hit a game winner the other night.
Yeah,
Sure
no, he
did.
did. He cooked. He
He
did.
sure did. He sure did. Yeah,
He
Derek
definitely
White.
did his thing.
Derek White definitely will probably fit on all 30 teams pretty easily. Like
Yo, Derek White on the Lakers, we might be favorites to come out of the West. No lie.
If you had Derek Wright instead of Austin Reeves?
No, instead of D'Lo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not even joking. I'm being so serious when I say that.
I'm with you.
Right? Yo,
Yeah,
we would
I'm with
be OD. We'd be a perfect team, especially because we'd have that perimeter defense now. Like Derek White can provide that to every single contender. If Derek White was on Milwaukee, we're talking about them in a completely different light.
I don't know about that.
They still have a lot of bad.
Yeah, they really are. They're pretty bad. I don't know about, but they're better than what they are. Like now,
I think they would still be a lot better because it's Giannis, it's Dame. You don't have Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, whatever they give you on any given. You know that Derek White is reliable and consistent. I know that for sure. He will play every night, and he will give you the same thing every night. They don't have that right now. They don't have someone that they can rely on.
Tatum does to everyone. What he does to these role players, man. Like look at him. He just does it all. Grant Williams got paid because of him. Derek White got paid because of him. Drew Holiday got it. I mean, shout out to Tatum, man. He's
Listen,
he's a
Tatum
good guy.
has Derek White in top 10 point guard talks.
Facts.
Ricky goes, Mavs on a 3-game heater. # we back, baby.
Are they losing right now?
I don't know. Start bench cut Cam Thomas, Emmanuel Quickly, Benedict Mathurin.
That's actually kind of difficult.
I'm starting Mathurin. I think
Oh, no,
Mathurin
they're
is gonna. He has the higher ceiling out of all these players.
I'll start Mathurin. I'll bench
That's tough.
Cam, and I'll
Oh
cut
my God,
quickly.
Riv, you're done, man.
Listen, I'm not fond of either
He's been
one.
hurt this year. I really feel like I haven't even seen him play.
I'll
I
go
think I would-
Benedict quickly, Thomas.
Damn, Cam Thomas fell off just like that.
He didn't fall off. He's still good. I think these three players are playing really well this season.
Yeah, I like Benedict. Cam and quickly is tough.
I really don't know which way to go with it.
I think
Honestly, you know what? Benedict's been really good. I'm still going to take quickly as my start. Benedict bench and Thomas cut.
This is tough. Well, I'm starting Benedict. I think he has a higher ceiling. If we're going off of just his whole career, though, I think he's the one that gets cut. You know, just because
He's been here the shortest.
Yeah, he has. I'm gonna go with
His rookie year was electric.
Cam Thomas moves me, man. Cam Thomas moves me.
D White or
Cookies in
prime
Toronto.
Draymond. It is close. It is
What?
close. Miles.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Freeholder goes ECF preview tonight question. Joel has
Why
never
are we
made
letting,
ECF.
why are
by
we
the way.
letting Dells just walk away saying?
Damn.
Yo, can you
God,
let
beat
him
it,
troll? Come on.
You know what the problem is, Drew? I don't know if he's trolling or not. when
He's
it's Celtics stuff,
trolling.
I
It's
really don't know.
Draymond.
Bro, even though
With
it is
Celtics stuff, you never know.
Warrior State, I'll tear down Draymond like it's my fucking job.
With Celtics talk, you never know with him. You would never know with him.
Man, this Celtics flag and the Jets flag being next to each other just gives me Patriots and Jets vibes. I don't know.
I'm trying to get the Celtics energy over here. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do.
Listen, we just have to be grateful that he has something in the background and doesn't look like he's in a prison anymore. That's what I'm happy about.
He's getting some more design. It's nice. Well, that does it for our time here. We read these super chats and we recapped the game. We got into a little fun debate. We'll be on playback in a couple of days. We got to figure that out. And then we're recording a podcast tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching. If you made the live stream, thank you for watching. If you're watching after the fact, we appreciate you guys. You guys can follow us on Twitter at PickSidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at PickSidePodcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.